Hi, this video will discuss profit maximization for a monopolist and explain why a monopolist can choose either price or quantity, but it can't choose both. And the reason being is a monopolist is constrained by a demand curve. So it can choose one or the other, but it's unable to set both price and quantity. Whichever one it chooses determines what the other one is. So a firm maximizes their profits. A monopolist and all firms maximize their profits where they set marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. So this is true regardless of your market structure, whether it's competitive industry or whether it's a monopolist. And unlike a competitive firm, a monopoly can pick its price and can adjust its price. But the issue is it can't choose both price and quantity. It's got to choose either price or quantity to maximize their profits. Because, as I mentioned in the intro, the monopoly is constrained by their market demand curve. And because these market demand curves are downward sloping by the law of demand, the monopolist has a trade-off between a higher price and lower quantity or a lower price and a higher quantity. Let's see this graphically for the monopolist. You've got a demand curve, an MR curve, which is twice as steep. You've got an MC curve that's upward sloping, and average cost and average variable cost curves as well. And you want to find the profit maximizing output for the monopolist. Well, hopefully you remembered that they want to pick the output where this happens, where MR is equal to not MR, MR is equal to MC. And here's our MC, here's our MR, so that's where the action happens right there. So the monopolist, it wants to go straight down to find the output, and then it goes up to the demand here and go over to pick the price, 18. Note, you don't hang a left here where MR equals MC to find the price. And this difference between 12, the MC, and this price of 18, that difference is called the markup. That's our markup, this difference between these prices and MCs. Okay, that's our markup. And why is this the profit maximizing point? Well, beneath it, it's clear. So here's our profit. That's the goal of the firm. At any output smaller than 6, the MR is bigger than MC. That says, hey, make another one. You can raise your profits. And any output larger than 6, the MC, the red one, is higher than the purple one, so that's going to bring down your profits. Note that the profit maximization point is nowhere near the revenue maximization point. Revenue is maximized where MR is 0. But the goal of the firm is not to be the biggest. The goal of the firm is to be the most profitable. So as long as you remember MR needs to equal MC, look for that on the graph. That's where the action happens. That's the big dot that you've got to be able to find when you see this graph. That will then determine the output, 6, and the price, 18. And in this case, 18 times 6 is our total revenue. Our total cost, take your 6 up to the average total cost curve right here and go over. This is the total cost. So clearly, total revenue is larger than total cost. That's why the profit here is $60.